Good Sunday evening, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you all for hanging out with me, stopping in, saying hi, and um, I done posted the link there. If anybody wants to come up and hang out with me on panel, we got 6 people watching. Hi, 6 people. Ben's workshop. Yeah, Ben's like 6 or so hours ahead of us. So thank you for stopping in and saying hi, Ben. Appreciate it. You guys are already celebrating your New Year's. Hi, Susan. How you doing, dear? Thank you for stopping in. Uncle Mark, how you doing? Wayne Hatfield, how you doing, brother? Thank you for stopping in. And there's
Hello.
Daryl. Hi,
Hello,
Daryl.
Ed. How you doing, Mr. Uncle Ed?
Oh, I am doing flabtabulous, man. Oh, I got me a little nap today, you know. So I am doing good. A&D Lawn Tractor Sales, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it. So yeah, we got a couple hours to hang out here, and you know, Mudster, what's happening, brother? John Clem, how you doing, man? Thank you for stopping in.
Mudster, A&D, Wayne, Uncle Marks, everybody I missed. All of you have a happy New Year.
Yeah. I've been cooking pork and sauerkraut all afternoon, and it's making me dang hungry because I can smell it. You know.
Well, we forgot it. We forgot to even get any of that stuff today at the grocery store.
Well, I bought sauerkraut over about a month ago. Put it in the freezer, just because I knew the prices would jump, and uh, so I got that going. And, I bought a nice like boneless pork roast to put in there, but um, I kind of ate it.
Hello, Barry.
Hey Barry, how you doing, buddy? Happy New Year to you too. Thank you. But so I picked up some Polish sausage, put in it. I like Polish sausage, so of course I got some hot dogs with cheddar in them. We're gonna throw in there a little bit later. They don't need to cook all 6-7 hours. So, I haven't been to Cracker Barrel in forever and a day. I used to love their catfish. When I worked over the road doing graphics, vinyl graphics, that was one of our staples. If we were out for like a week or so, we'd stop in at least like one Friday night or Saturday night and get a couple catfish dinners and all the fixings to go with it to go. And Happy New Year, Scott. Buddy, you don't have to keep doing that, man. I appreciate it.
Well, he's got to spend that money somewhere because he snowed in up there where he's at, or going to be snowed in up there. So
yeah. He's definitely going to be snowed in. So,
hey,
Willie CK, how you doing, man? You guys get the snow up there, Willie? Yeah, I was out in the garage earlier today working, getting some things going. Turning wrenches, how you doing, brother? Thank you for stopping in.
Hey, turning wrenches.
Yeah, I did. I worked for a big graphics company. We did a lot of speedway stuff. Hey, go karts going fishing. How you doing, brother? We did speedway, BP, PetSmart, Toys R Us. You know, uh, we did a whole bunch of stuff. Some Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers stuff. Low Lids, Happy New Year, brother. Thank you for stopping in.
He's down sitting in the Fort Myers in the daggum hot tub sitting there. I mean,
Hey, I don't blame him, man. If I had if I could take the time and just go hang out in warmer weather for the winter, heck yeah, I'd be there. I'd be there in a heartbeat. Oh, Nate's in South Carolina hunting. Heck, you're halfway here, Nate. Come on up here hunting.
what part of South Carolina you hunting there, Nate?
I know it's his dad's property, his family's property up there. I don't remember exactly where it's at. Scott's in a brewery, not a hot tub.
Well, just go over and crawl in one of those tanks and you'll be in a hot tub there, Scott.
Yeah, almost the same difference, man.
Yeah. The beer probably tastes about the same too. So I mean,
yeah. And well, like I said earlier, I was out in the garage for a while this morning. Well, I was up late last night. I took a little nap and then was wide awake for like 2 or 3 hours, and then went back to sleep till like 7 o'clock this morning. But I was out there piddling around and stuff. And Danny, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in. John, how you doing? Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it.
Hey, John.
And I started looking at that clutch setup I was talking about last night in your stream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and use that clutch because I think down the road I'm gonna drop a diesel motor in that thing, so that clutch will work fine for that.
Hello, April. Steve Tucker, how you?
Hi, Steve. Hi, April. Thank you all for stopping in. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's that younger generation, Scott. You know, strong out of the gate, just no stamina. So, but D. Schepter, he's the one that made my sign up here. He makes all kinds of crafty stuff. Sea Monster, we know. He's watching over there on Facebook. If everybody else on YouTube can't see it. So, but hey, Kevin, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing great, Kevin. You over on Facebook, hit that little link and come on over here to YouTube and say hi here and hit that thumbs up for me over here. They're on second 2 drinks and you're on 12. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, Kevin, I'm doing good. Working on another tractor, of course. Always working on something. But I did find out after looking at that clutch setup and stuff, I'm gonna have to go to the machine shop. Just my luck, the way it's set up. There's a aluminum hub adapter that bolts to the flywheel that your clutch driver bolts to. The holes, there's 4. I need 4 bolts to bolt it onto the flywheel. The holes are like 1/16 of an inch off. I need them 1/16 of an inch on each side closer to be able to get the bolts in the hole. And it's not something I can just. I don't want to just ream them out, because if that thing's not on there dead center, it'll, do the wobble, and I'll get the death wobbles and destroy something. So, but so I'm gonna have to get with the machine shop and see if they can machine it out for me a little bit. I mean, like I said, it's just like a 1/16 of an inch on each side. So I'm imagining if it the holes that are in it are metric. If they were standard, there would
Yeah, and just as soon as you do that, then you'll find that other clutch that you said you had.
Yeah, probably, but like I said, this once I get this set up, it's a double disc system set up. It's got a heavier spring on it than what this motor needs and stuff. But I was in my awake dreaming last night. I'm like, I want to build a diesel someday, and that would be this tractor would be a great platform for it. So, might as well go ahead and get it set up for that, and we can do the clutch setup and stuff. I mean, it won't hurt it being too heavy duty, but Okay, Crystal. Yeah, I noticed that Cajun went live just a couple minutes before 9 there. So I imagine there's a bunch of people over there hanging out with him, but that's okay. No big deal. It's a big place. There's millions of viewers. So, but yeah, so I'm going to, I feel like a squirrel tonight. I'm bouncing around from every subject to every subject. But, so yeah, I mean, I ran that clutch for a couple years in my old 39 cubic inch, and I mean it's a great clutch. It holds well, so it should have no problem holding this little opposed twin. And from what I've been told in the past, that they'll work good with the diesels, So, but yeah, when I was out there working today, looking at that clutch and trying to get everything lined up, and kind of sitting there just kind of staring at it, I was really thinking I really wish that I had a mini mill here.
Hi, Tommy.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing, buddy? Wishing you a healthy and happy New Year too, Tommy. Appreciate it. And I want to. Beans were like 15 minutes in or so, or close to it. I do want to thank everybody. 2023 has been a great year for me, for the channel, and it's all because of you all. If you all weren't here, we wouldn't be doing this. So, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you all very much. It is deeply appreciated. I probably don't say it enough and everything, but I did also notice too that I was looking through the analytics earlier today, and 85% of my views come from non-subscribers. If you're a non-subscriber, hit the subscribe button. It's free.
Yeah, man, you expect a lot, Ed. I mean, I watch your videos, but do you expect me to subscribe to?
Well, it doesn't increase my monetization any, because it's all based off views. So I get $1, roughly between 80 and $1, 80 cents and $1 for every 1,000 views. So how did you get so close? The sub count just makes me feel good. Makes my little black heart just skip a beat and pity patter a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'm on one of them kicks where I gain 2 and lose 3. Gain 2 and lose 3.
Mm-hmm.
So,
although it's going to here shortly, mid end January is when they'll do the purge, and I'll probably lose a couple hundred. So, happens every year, which ain't no big deal. Like I said, I ain't doing it for the money. I ain't doing it for anything. Um, I'm, you know, I'm here just to have fun, put videos out, and you know, y'all keep me kind of sane. I'd be doing like really stupid stuff if I wasn't putting it on video. You know.
Yeah, but you don't show the good stuff, Ed. You cut out where you bust your knuckles and 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 skinny hand up and how to say choice words and all that. You ain't supposed to cut them parts out. You're supposed to leave them in.
Well, if I wasn't trying to be family friendly, I would.
Well, just put a beep over them. At least let us see you getting knuckles again every now and
Uh, uh, yeah, I could put beeps over them, but a lot of times I don't have the camera on, or it's on time lapse, and you can't hear it anyway. So um, I don't I don't remember if I don't know if I put it in the video or not, where I got the grinder caught up in my hoodie one time.
Well, I got the grinder caught up in my blue jeans one time, and it no in my shirt, and it I had a wire brush on the end of it, and it sucked in, and I had a big old loop around my belly button that was raw because I couldn't get my finger off the button fast enough.
Well, this was it was a cutting wheel, and the thin ones. I can't remember
Yeah,
what I was doing. I was cutting something, and I don't remember if it was still running. I think it jumped back or something. I can't like I said I can't remember exactly the situation, but in a blink of an eye, that thing was wrapped up and spinning in circles on my stomach.
yeah,
Luckily it was a hoodie, not a t-shirt, but it was one of my DeWalt ones, and it had the locking button, not just the click paddle.
yeah. That's
Um,
what Ryan had on it, and I was trying to knock rust off of a piece of steel, and next thing I know, it kicked back on me, and that wire brush decided it wanted to eat. It wanted to eat. If it didn't want just rust, it wanted some meat. It wanted some meat to eat too. It wasn't vegan.
sometimes you gotta appease the gods. It's a blood sacrifice. So you know, at least every time I'm working on something, it's got to draw blood at least once. You know, a friend of mine's son, when he was doing that Ford, he sent me a picture. He, nicked himself up pretty good doing something. I'm like, I said, you're just appeasing the auto gods. I said you got to do a blood sacrifice every once in a while. John, you say that. I was using a drill one day at work, and uh, how the little fans are in the back of the old brush motors. Yeah, I got just a few beard hairs wrapped up in it. It pulled them suckers out quicker than I realized that it was caught. Hey, Thomas Andrew, how you doing, buddy?
Hey Thomas. Yeah, those.
Yes, they are, Thomas. If you don't respect them and stuff, John, it didn't hurt until I realized what happened. I thought it just got like one or two little hairs and just kind of pulled them out. And I went, I looked, I'm like, oh man, so I kind of put the drill in reverse and kind of like needle nose pliers and pulled it all out, and went into the bathroom to look to see, because it was like over here on this side of my face, because I was like drilling and, you know, trying to grunt on it. And there was blood running down through my beard. I went up and talked to the secretary that does all the band-aids on boo-boos if you got something you can't, get on yourself. I said, yeah, I need a band-aid on a boo-boo. She's like, okay, She's kind of looking at my hands and stuff. I said, "Oh," I said, "it's over here," and you can see the red down through my beard. I said, "I'm just kidding." She's like, "Do you need to go? What happened? Did you something hit you?" I said, "No." I said, "I got caught up in a drum, popped it out, and just took a little chunk out, and, you know." But yeah, that was. So now I am very careful whenever I'm using a drill. I don't get close to my beard, or any power tool like that. I couldn't imagine if it would have been a grinder or something like that. Would got a good chunk of good hold on it. So, but back to the clutch hub adapter. Of course, I had to get on Marketplace and see what I could see and on see if I could find any like mini mills or anything around and see what they were priced them at. I love the ones that you can blatantly tell that they're not a real ad. Somebody had I don't remember what brand it was, Bridgeport or something. Nice looking mill, you know, old, just no CNC or anything like that, and it made it. It was, like I said, a nice looking mill. Said it ran, worked good, and all this kind of stuff. Had a bunch of pictures of it. $250. Every other one on there is $1,500 and more, and they didn't look as good as this one. Wow, place. Very low power. Um, are you sure the valves are sealing good? And did you get the uh, valve lash? Did you get the valve lash right? If you got the valve lash too tight, um, you won't make power. Yep, John said lash.
Hello, Sea Monster. Here's the hillbilly monster, Sea Monster.
Yeah, I actually do need a little bit of machine work done. I'm going to check with the guys at work. We got a machine shop for the university for our engineering program. I'm going to see if he can do it real quick.
She's got one of her kicks again. She wanted to be the star of the show.
Okay, I'm just making sure that start growling.
Well, she said she's going to be a stripper at midnight, so.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna see if they can do that little bit of machine work for me real quick. Like I said, it's just, basically it takes a 5/16 bolt to hold it on. If they would use like a 5/16 end mill and just clean it out just a little bit, it would be perfect on.
Hey, Katana.
Yeah, see, much like I said, you could tell it was a fake ad because the pictures were too nice of pictures, and they were saying works, runs, tooling, blah blah blah. I cannot see somebody getting off a Bridgeport for $250. Hi, Katana. Hi, John. Or Elton. Sorry. But and I was wondering if anybody ever tried one of them small mini benchtop lathe mill combinations. I'm seeing those for under $1,000. I just didn't know if they were any good, how precise they were. I know if they get, if the heads are sloppy on them, you can't, Thank you, Elton. I appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, Sea Monster. That's what I was seeing. 1,500 to 3,000, depending on condition and tooling and stuff that comes with them. Exactly, Willie. Uh, that's how my friend's son got suckered into a truck that he should have never have bought. Uh, your locker to come in for your Sears. Awesome. Uh, Hi, John. How you doing, buddy? Long time no see. Happy New Year's. But I don't. I mean, I've got a mini lathe coming. It's actually over at my brother's. I just need to clean a place off of my back workbench back here to get it um, set up back there. It's. I mean, it's got a head on. It's like 6 inches across or something like that. I mean, nothing big. Something. I could have milled those spacer blocks and stuff down just fine with it. And I don't need a big one like he's got or something. It just takes up too much room in my shop. But I never didn't know if those little I seen a what was that? I can't remember what the brand was now. Nice little benchtop mill. They only wanted like $500 for it, and it's a brand name. I just didn't know how accurate they were and stuff like that. Grizzly, that's what it was. It was Grizzly. Hi, Chris.
Happy New Year, Chris.
I'm doing good, Chris. Happy New Year to you too, buddy. But like I said, I didn't know how accurate they were. I know you can tune them up and make them accurate, but I, just it's something I'll probably never buy.
Hey, VA lady.
Hi, VA lady. How you doing?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and hope you have a great New Year and a blessed year also.
Well, I was just thinking there, Ed. You was using a lathe the other day. I mean, so you can just go over there and you can save your electricity and all that stuff and use that one and, and make
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you want to off without it look like.
yeah. I can. I've actually got access to his garage anytime I want to use it. But it's just he's 15 or so minutes away, and if I would have had it here, I could have trimmed each one individually and you know got them down, good and spot on. All right, Munster City spent $3,000 on his Bridgeport knockoff. Yeah, I know where there's a monster mill. I mean, you could bore engines with it. Um, it's at my cousin's house, and it takes a phase converter. Um, the bad part about it is that if I would bring it here, it'd take up half my garage. I mean, the bed on it's like 4 foot long.
Well,
You know.
yeah, I seen they were selling out a whole machine shop the other week on Craigslist. I
Yeah.
mean, that was. But in order to put it look like it was so jam packed in there, probably had to buy the building just so you could keep all that stuff in it. But
I'm VA Lee. I am glad he reached out to you, and I'm glad you guys are doing good. Hope he's doing good in the rehab. So that's really good news.
yeah, it is.
So, but so yeah, maybe someday I'll get a. Like I said, it's just a dream. I don't have that much machining and stuff to do. Um, it just like I said, it'd be nice every once in a while, like now, uh, to be able to do this stuff, knock it out real quick and easy and be done with it. And so, but like I said, someday, maybe when I'm old and gray.
You already Santa Claus. You got to be about 900 years old, ain't
Just about.
you?
Pushing it. Sam's Garage, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in and hanging out. So, and again, I thank everybody again. You guys have made it a great year for me. Great year for the channel. I just want to, all the new people coming in, I just want to reiterate that I do really appreciate it. It means so much to me. I've got friends, here that don't watch my channel, but I got people, all over the state and country and all over the world that watch, and I do deeply appreciate it. Sam's just there getting his drink on. Me too, Sam. Cheers, buddy.
My can had a hole in it, so
my cup's got a hole in it too, right there.
It got empty too quick, and I'm too late. You gotta go get another one.
But I got backup.
Where's your pee bottle at now? If you got all that, you need a pee bottle.
Look at that, sure. All right, Mudstraw. Well, I need to get the roof stuff taken care of before I do any of that kind of stuff. That's why I've been holding off buying a different truck. Kind of put the minibus on the back burner and all that kind of stuff until I find out what's going on with this roof.
Ed, there's a place down in North Carolina, right across the line, that makes those metal buildings and stuff. You said you wanted a metal roof. That stuff would, if they made the metal buildings, they probably would be fairly cheap about the metal. If you wanted to get metal roof, be a lot cheaper than probably out where you're at.
Actually, about 45 minutes south of me here, there's a place that actually makes the steel siding.
Okay.
If you want a 100-foot long piece, they will run you out a 100-foot long piece. Of course, there's no really good way to haul a 100-foot long piece, but
you have to stick it out of both windows to go down the highway with that, Ed.
Yeah. and maybe a foot or two off the back.
Yeah.
Haven't cut my hair in 6 months. It's down to my shoulders. Yeah, I'm getting close to needing a haircut. My hair is starting to get curly. It's been about 4 or 5 months for me. My hair don't grow that long or that quick anymore. Springtime it does, but fall and winter it kind of slows down. Maybe because I'm supposed to be in hibernation.
I went in there and I got my shears laying on the sink laying in there already. Just because I sure might be getting ready to get gone because it's getting too thick up underneath my neck. It bugs me whenever I start pulling on everything. Yeah,
I start getting the little wings out from the front of my hat. So
yeah,
that's how I judge when I need my hair cut. Yeah, I've got a couple videos like that, John. That they basically that through the summer. That's what it basically carries the channel. It's how to replace a drive belt on a Toro Bronco. There's 2 of them. and both of them do really well. Um, every month through the summer, you know, and like I said, that's basically what carries my channel through the summer, you know. But I have noticed in the last like month or so, my views have been going up, so I must be doing something interesting, or people are getting bored. Quit, they're tired of watching. What's the goofball dude that destroys all the vehicles and stuff? Whistling Diesel.
No.
You know, there's only so many different vehicles you can destroy. So
Yep.
but so but I don't. Like I said, hopefully I can get to the machine shop here in the next day or so, and um, Tuesday when we get back to work, get that part done so I can get that clutch mounted in and get you guys a video for next week. If not, y'all may be watching something else from my channel, but something else.
Uh-oh. Sorry to hear that, Thomas. I was fixing to ask you, box of ice cream fall on your head or something.
Thomas, we're just going to start wrapping you in bubble wrap, buddy, or give you a desk job.
Wrap him up one of them air pillows so when he bounces, and fill it with helium so when he bounces, he just floats off.
Oh, talking about helium, I watched a video while I was off here on Christmas break. Can't remember Steve Morris Engines. I like watching him. He's a goofball, but he knows his stuff. I think it's Steve Morris. Yeah, I think it was Steve Morris. Anyways, he went to a weld shop, and I never knew it, but like for aluminum, like when they're welding heads and blocks and stuff up, and some other like really precise TIG welding in that, they use helium instead of argon. I never knew that. Of course, the guy was saying how expensive and hard it is to get helium. He's under contract right now with his supplier, so he can get it. But like, if you or I were to walk in and try to buy a bottle of helium, he said you probably wouldn't get it. So, but yeah, I found that pretty interesting. And I don't TIG weld. I don't know how to TIG weld. I think it's awesome. I'd love to learn how to TIG weld. And he was saying something about the setting the hertz really high, so set the pulse real high, like 1,000 or so. He said it makes a smoother weld. So, you know, learn,
Some
learn
people,
stuff.
some people can make them can weld aluminum, make it look just as beautiful as anything else. But all I can do is make a bunch of trash and popping everywhere. So.
Yeah. Well, this guy here that he was talking to, that was doing this welding for him, he's an older guy. He's in his 60s. He's been welding all of his life. Um, he must kind of know what he's doing, because he's one of like 4 people in the country that can weld the arc or aluminum. I'm sorry, copper cooling tubes for the arc furnaces for the steel mills. He's only one of 4 people in the country, and he's gone all over the world and welded these things. So yeah, and he said one weld in these things takes 8 hours, and usually there's like a dozen different welds that they have, pieces they have to weld together when they go in and do these things. So he's there, 2 or 3 weeks welding these things.
But yeah,
Thomas would probably break the bubble wrap. That'd be my luck too, you know.
he probably brings on a pretty damn good check then. I mean, when he goes
Yeah,
right.
yeah. He gets well. He worked with Miller welders that he uses strictly Miller welders. And I forget which welder it is. It's one of their TIG welders. Um, he started out with number 2 prototype and ended up with number 75 prototype. That's how many different prototypes they made before they put it on the market, you know. And he basically, I mean, they would make one, send it to him. He'd use it, tell them what's wrong with it, what they need to change, how they needed to change it. They would go back, do it, and I mean this TIG welder he had actually has an SD card slot that they can program it and upgrade to soft. I mean, the thing's computer controlled. I mean, they can upgrade software and do all kinds of stuff. And he can, like, when he is welding for, like, say, Steve Morris on these heads, if it's a special setting that he wants to use, he can store that setting in there. And when Steve sends other stuff over to him, he just punches in a couple numbers and it auto sets the machine. And it's like, I'm like, dude, I don't even want to know what that welder cost. you know, you know.
Well, I'm sitting here talking like I know what I'm doing about welding. It's been 25, 30 years since I've welded anything. So, I mean, I can't even remember what a so the difference between a 6011 and a 3011 or whatever else nowadays. I mean,
I'm the same way, Daryl. John says all his stick welder is made in the 50s. I've used welders that old, like old Tombstones, and I've got one in my shop right now, in my garage. So I was going to actually dig it out when I was digging that clutch and stuff out, but it was back in a little too far. I don't know when it was made. I'm guessing in the 40s or something. It looks like a big electric motor, but it is an arc welder. Um, it, 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 it scares me.
yeah, well, Jaleesa's dad had one like that, and it was gas powered, and he used it for his generator. Whenever the power went out around here, he would go out and crank that something up and use it for his generator. So
No, this isn't a generator. This is just a.
yeah,
It just looks like a.
It was just a little square looking thing with no. It's got a drop, bars on it to protect it, but it didn't have no sides on it or nothing like that. It was just in a square cage.
This one, I'll this spring or summer, once I get some stuff moved around, get that plastic wall rolled back up and out of the way. I'll dig it out and do a video on it. It literally looks like if it had a shaft coming out of it, you'd swear it was electric motor, because that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a big round, probably, I'm going to say 18 to 20 inches around and probably 2 foot long motor. It's open on each end and you can see right in it. It's got something that spins, and it's got a box on the side that looks like a connection box that you'd run power into, but it's got a power cord that comes out. And it's got a hot lead and a ground lead on it. Or a stinger lead and a ground lead on it. I've had some people tell me it's sort of like a 3-phase converter style welder. They said they're really, really good welders. Like I said, it terrifies me to even try to plug the thing in, because I bet you I would dim the lights in the whole neighborhood as soon as I struck an arc. But and yeah, you got to do that every once in a while, Matt or Scott. No, I was watching another video today. Guys doing heavy equipment repair, and they were doing oxy arc cutting. Big looks like a big copper rod, and they run oxygen through it. Um, that looks interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't look to see. I didn't look to see how much the setup cost. It doesn't look like it'd be very expensive to buy the setup because it's basically just a handle with an oxygen line coming up to it with a trigger, and the way they light it is off of a 12-volt battery arc. You turn the oxygen on, and you keep scratching it until it starts blowing out flame, and then you can burn through. Well, they were burning through 2-inch pins that were like 12 inches long, boring straight through them, dude. And it took like 30 seconds to bore through that sucker. And they said when they're needed, they're awesome as long as you can, you've used them before and you can control them. But things can go bad really, really quick because they are indiscriminate about what they cut. He said, so like when we're blowing through them pins, if you get off a little bit and you get halfway through, you can't see where the tip of it's at when it's back in that bore. He said, you can bore right down through the mount and everything. And
Well, I'd watched a video the other day, something similar to that, but it was they had to replace the uh the bores and stuff there, to replace that thick metal for where the pins and everything went through it. I mean, and it was about a 25-minute, 30-minute video, just doing the grinding and all that stuff they had to do to get it. Which, I mean, they had the plasma cutters and everything else to put the bevels and all that on it. It wasn't just
no, Wayne, I've never used a HeliArc. I've seen it done. I'm thinking that this Oxy, whatever they called it, is about the same thing. But it kind of reminds me of a plasma cutter that burns off the copper real quick and just uses oxygen to, get the flame good and hot. Yeah, exactly right, Scott. And a welder that old makes the electric company happy. And is Mudster and them guys still in here? The welders. I did have a question for them. I forgot. Mudster, you still in here? You still listening? Do have a question though on welding, or if anybody else is good at, knows different welding stuff and that. I've got a new to me little Miller 110. I think I'm running too heavy a wire through it. It come with a partial roll of 035, and it just seems like even on the hottest setting, it seems like it struggles to burn in a good bead. And I'm wondering if I should drop down to like the 023 or 025 size wire, because that's what it lists in the. It lists up from 025 to 035 wire for different thicknesses and stuff. I'm just wondering if I should drop it down, because the thing's old. It's 20 plus years old. I'm just wondering if it's getting old and kind of hard to. It's a non-inverter welder. It's it's still got the old style stuff in it. So I'm just wondering.
Kind of thinking there, John. That I'd drop it down one or 2 points, as low as as little as you can. If it does good on most stuff, then just drop it down. Drop it down to one wire size instead of. But I mean that was kind of the way that they're automatic. The wire welders we had up there at the mill, back when I was working in the water heater factory.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of what we, they had I had them daggum big spools on them daggum welders that had to have that had an arm on it that just spun the whole spool around,
Yeah.
and those are like 1,000 pounds a piece. Them doggone spools that worked on that, but the uh, but we also had a little Miller Miller sitting right beside of us because there was some types we had, the gas heaters and stuff like that had to have a special ring that went on it, and you had to tack weld that in before you could weld the bottom end. So,
All right, Willie. Good night, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. Sorry you got to work tomorrow. Appreciate you stopping in and saying hi. And, but yeah, like I said, it's an old welder. It's not. It's like I said. It's not the inverter. It's non-inverter style. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe I don't know what are the capacitors or whatever in there are getting a little weak or old or whatever. I did contact a couple places to see if they could, if they'd be interested in, or see if they could go through it and check it out. Hi, Donald. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for stopping in, man. To see if they could go through it. They said probably the minimum for them to go through it and look at it and everything would be like $500. Dude, I can buy one of them cheap, 110, 220 MIG welders nowadays for $300, 400. Do I want to go through all that and have that.
Oh, another thing I did look the other day. I was in Tractor Supply, and they had a small plasma cutter sitting there, and from what I was looking at, it did 3 to 4 CFIs.
CFM.
CFM was around 3 to 4. So I mean,
okay,
it didn't. I mean, it wouldn't. I think it would. It was a. It wasn't the smallest one, but it wasn't the biggest one they had in there neither. But I mean, that's what the box had on the outside of it.
All right, cool. I'll keep that in mind because it shouldn't most of them shouldn't be more than that. Then until you get into like the one I got at work. The big things that cut like an inch.
If you was getting up to 3/4 to an inch plate steel, then you might have to have a whole lot there. But it didn't look like it would require that much air pressure. So
right. Yeah, but back on the wire size stuff, my Hobart dual voltage one, the multi process one I got at work. It's an inverter style. It burns 035 on 110, like nothing. So that's why I was kind of thinking that maybe it was getting a little. That old Miller was getting a little tired, and I should drop down on the wire size a little bit to kind of, I can make multiple passes. I can just chew more. I can just chew more bubble gum and stuff it in there.
Well, it can also be how tight you got those feeder wheels going in there too. I mean, since you're using bigger wire than what it's required, what it's required, so it shows required, then those feeder wheels might have a little tension on them too.
Well, it feeds fine. I mean, it doesn't like jump or skip or anything. It just doesn't seem like even on the highest setting, it's getting really hot enough to burning good. I mean, it still burns in, but not what I feel it should. So I'm thinking there's too much resistance in that bigger wire. It's too much for it to burn it and get it melted in good. So Uh, that's why I was wondering if I was going to go out and, I mean, I can get a 2 pound spool of the 023 or 025, I forget which one it is. I can get a spool of that for $10, you know, and throw it in there with a new tip and see how it does. And then, if that's too small, then, I could jump up to the 030, and get I won't buy a big roll of it until I try it and everything. Because I know my Lincoln, it's an 030, but it's flux core. So it burns in pretty decent. And that machine's a whole lot older than that Miller. But, but yeah, I'm just, before I go welding those braces in, those spacers in, I want to get it worked. Mudster said he uses 030 for everything. Use 023 for body and metal. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say probably the heaviest thing I'm ever going to weld here at the house, other than just tack welding it together, would probably be 1/4 inch. So, um, the so I'm gonna, like I said, I think I'm gonna try the 023. Like I said, if I have to make multiple passes, all right, that's fine. But I don't want to overtax the machine. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the amperage is on my little. It's just a little. Both of them are 110 welders. They're neither one of them's 220. Um, I've had that flux core for probably 25 years or so, and it was used when I got it. Um, buddy of mine that owns a farm rented out the farmhouse there, where at the main farm, uh, and the tenants were allowed to use the farm shop there as long as they cleaned up and didn't have it tied up for days on end. And that old Lincoln sat out there outside that garage, I know, for at least 2 weeks, and it rained on it and everything else. And I asked him about it one day. I said, what's the deal with that? He's like, I don't know. He goes, that's been sitting there for 2, 3 weeks. He said, I actually slid it out off to the side because I was getting tractor in and out. And he said, I'll ask him about it. So he asked him about it. A couple of days later, he said that they said it's junk. It doesn't weld. I said, oh, mind if I take a look at it? I got a buddy that, he's an electrician, so I took it, and what it was is the wire speed knob had broke off, and it was on the lowest wire feed. So yeah, it wouldn't weld. I mean, every time you'd run it out, and as soon as it hit, it just burned the wire off.
Yeah.
So I talked to my buddy that did electrical stuff like that. He's like, oh yeah, he goes, that's just a rheostat switch. He goes, I got those at work. He said, bring it over. I brought it over. He looked at it, got some part numbers and stuff off of it. A few days later, he called me. He said, yeah, he goes, I got you a new one in. He goes, the knob's not the same. He said, but he said, it works just fine. He goes, I laid down some beads with it, and that was the wire that was in the machine. So he cleaned it all out and everything else too. And I've been using it ever since. And I've probably put a couple dozen 10-pound or whatever, the bigger spools. I probably put, at least a dozen or so of those through the thing. And I still like it. It just, I had an opportunity to get this gas, jobber from Miller. And so I got it, and I just want to be able to use it. So, Oh, we're an hour in. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me for an hour. We got 2 more hours to go. So, yeah. So I don't think Nap will be back open Tuesday. So I'll grab a 2 pound roll from them. We have an air gas in town, but I don't like dealing with them. Um, the last couple times I went in there to buy stuff, parts and everything else like that, uh, they've tried to tell me that I need to go with their brand. I'm like, no, this is the stuff I've been using for years and it works just fine. Oh, this is better. Well, yeah, it's better. It costs $10 more. Costs a lot more money.
Exactly. And I mean, I'd love to have a good torch, but damn, you got to rent the damn bottles nowadays because they don't want nobody like to fill the bottles that you got right here. So you have your own bottles.
That's where I'm lucky. I do own some bottles, so. Let's see, quarter one. Oh yeah. I would definitely V notch it. I V notch just about everything. That's just the way I am. 3/16. Yeah, A3/16 would probably be the most common stuff that I'm welding. Maybe some mower decks and stuff like that. So, Happy New Year, Harold. Thank you for stopping in, bud. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But so all right. Yeah, I think I will pick up a. I mean, the 2 pound, like I said, the 2 pound rolls are cheap. I may even have a 2 pound roll at work. Of the thin stuff that come with that Hobart. I have to look and see if I still have that laying around. I know it come with a roll, but I never used it because it was just such a small roll, and I still had most of a 10 pound roll from the old welder that we threw in there. That I threw in it, and it's 030, I think. So, but so yeah, when I go back to work, I'll see if I still got that kicking around. I may have actually gotten rid of it since I knew I would never use it or anything. But I just like I said, I don't want to tear the old machine up. I kind of sympathize with the old stuff. You know?
Well, you should go back to brazing there, Ed, or whatever else. I mean,
I've got my oxyacetylene torches and everything. I've actually done a lot of brazing. I like gas welding like that, steel and steel welding and brazing. I that's when my nephew was going through welding school. We were talking about it, and I used to tell him I used to weld with coat hanger and stuff, and he's the one that told me, well, if you can do that, Unc, he said, you can TIG weld. If you can, he said, it's basically the same thing. You're making your puddle, your arc with a torch instead of with the arc electric instead of gas, and you're just dipping your wire in there. So, what I need to do is set my Hobart at work up with a TIG torch on it, and just start doing some practicing, after work and stuff. And Scott, we don't need that kind of gas, brother. But
there's something smells a little funny about that Florida gas anyway. So I mean,
that's swamp gas.
Yeah.
So, but So yeah, and I like I said, I've been watching a few videos and stuff on how to TIG weld and all that kind of stuff, and it's just one guy says, oh, you have to do this and this, and you know another guy that has been TIG welding for since TIG welding was a thing, says no, you don't need to do that. This is what you need to do as a beginner, and this is how you take care of it, and and uh, everybody's saying, well, scratch start's not, you got to have a high frequency welder, blah blah blah, and everybody else, other guys are like, nah. Once you get used to it, you can use a scratch start. You just got to be careful. And, this is what you need to be cautious about, and so yeah, yeah, Thomas, exactly. Yep, exactly. But so, like I said, I need to. I've got everything I need to TIG weld at work for that welder. I've got the gas. I've got the torches. The only thing it is a scratch start. It has a pedal capability, but it does not have the pedal with it. So, and I'm sure that if I said something to my boss at work that I wanted to get the pedal for TIG welding, he'd say buy it. But until I do some and try it and you know uh, see if it's something I want to pursue getting better at, I'm just going to just do the scratch start.
The only thing about that though, Ed, is if you let him know about it, then stuff that you'd had to send out because you wanted it TIG welded or whatever else. Then that would just throw more workload on you, where the school would pay for it the other ways. So
That's fine. I'll take take anything that they want me to do. It's all part of my job to do it, and if that's if they like I said, I mean, I go run tow motor and I go run loader and snow brush and all that kind of stuff. It all pays the same amount an hour. So if you don't want me turning them wrenches and you want me out there running that tow motor and loader and snow equipment and stuff like that, it's fine and dandy. It's it, I'll sit in the cab of that thing and because I got my radio and I got my coffee, you know I jam to the tunes and
why did you get the
listen.
heat? Did you get the heat holes patched up where the heat will work in that thing?
Uh, in my tractor, 99% of the holes are patched up, and my brother actually he bought a pair of alpaca socks. Um, he let me try them, borrow them, and usually even out in my shop, anytime it gets below, you know, 50 degrees, 40, 45, 50 degrees, somewhere around in there, when the concrete's cold, uh, my feet get cold. Um, it doesn't matter, you know, uh, the only place they don't get cold is like at work and over at my brother's shop because he has in floor like radiant heating and
Yeah,
stuff.
radiating heat in the
Well,
concrete.
I'm sorry, not radiant in floor heating, but he has the radiant heating that heats the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they still get a little cold, but not as cold as like in my shop. Uh, um, they, but I tried them the other day here, and I didn't think they were going to fit in my boots because when you look at them, I mean, they look like they're an inch thick socks. I put them on and put my work boots on, my steel toe work boots, and I went out and I was out there about 4.5 hours, and I'm like, hey, my feet aren't getting cold. So I think I'm gonna have to I think I'm gonna have to buy a pair.
That's the thing about it, there, Scott. When you got brothers, you don't know exactly whether you're wearing your socks or theirs. So it's just, it's just from the
Well,
time you was a kid, you just grab whatever socks you could find.
that's the funny thing is these are brand new. They were never
Oh,
worn. He
okay.
he bought he bought some real high top ones. I mean, they come clear up to my knees. He bought those. He bought some like mid calf ones, or a couple pair of the mid calf ones, or whatever. Um, and his buddy actually bought the short, like crop socks.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he wore his other ones, and he said they were too warm for him out hunting. Because I mean he's got really good hunting boots.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna have to invest in a pair of them short ones, or a couple pair of them probably. Um, and But the other thing I noticed too is my feet didn't sweat in them. You know, my feet didn't feel wet. You know, uh, I actually looked at recharge. They have rechargeable socks nowadays that are battery operated. Um, I was looking at those. I just can't pull the trigger on a $75 pair of socks that I don't know is going to actually work for me. You know, and these alpaca socks are a whole lot cheaper than that. You know, um, the booty socks, not booty socks, but like the little short crew socks that his buddy bought were actually baby alpaca hair, and he said them things are like super soft. So, but yeah, I'll have to get with him because his neighbor up the street, like two houses down, actually raise alpacas. That's where he bought them at, and they shear them and they make the socks and everything else. So I'm gonna have to check in, check with him, have him check in to see how much the other pair are. I'm gonna have to buy a couple pair. So that's the funny thing, Scott. If your brother had stinky feet, you probably did too. You just didn't notice yours because, you know, 90% of the time you can't smell your own feet. Uh, I was looking at the Timberland boots, Thomas. Um, I'm kind of kicking around the idea I probably should buy a new pair of boots. Mine are getting kind of old. They're over a year and a half old now. Um, I just I wear cat boots, the Caterpillars, and you know, uh, I'm happy with them.
I got the pair I had when I was I took with me when I was on the truck. I took them out there a while back, and the bottom is this seems the sole is separating from the bottom from the boot itself. So I'm gonna have to get me another pair for long.
Tommy, they are not thigh highs; they are knee highs. And just for that, I may have to make a short video for you.
Well, you got to remember now. Tommy's over there in Ireland where they wear thigh high socks and stuff like that. So uh,
Maybe
Ireland
maybe
and Scotland over that way. So
well, on that note, maybe I'll have to talk to. I got a friend that does the Highland Games. Maybe I'll have to see if he has an extra kilt, and I'll have to do my knee high socks in a kilt. Would you like that, Tommy? Hey, big boy.
you you ain't got to leave, Tommy. We'll quit picking on you.
Uh, uh, Yes, Scott, I seen them, the battery powered socks on Amazon for $20. Did you ever see the reviews on them? You know,
I be,
so, but
I can't. I wore work boots and all whenever I was having to load and unload trailers and all that stuff. But and now when I worked in the mill, but I can't. My feet get too hot now if I try to put them insulated boots on anymore. So
well, see, my job. There's nothing in my job description or anything that says that I have to wear steel toed boots. Um, all it says is closed toed shoes, so I can technically wear tennis shoes if I want. Um, I did have a pair of hiking boots that were non steel toed that I wore one summer, and I only wore them like 4 or 5 times to work. Um, yeah, I about broke my toe. So, well, I'm so used to like moving stuff around, kicking stuff around, setting stuff on the toe of my boot and everything else because it is steel toed.
and you don't have
Uh,
to drop. You don't have to drop one rotor on the end of your foot, and you know exactly what you why you should have steel toe
yeah,
shoes
yeah,
on.
yeah. Trying to get something hooked up and trying to get the pin in it and just kind of step back and give it a couple good whacks with the steel with your steel toed boot and it goes in. Yeah, you do that once or twice with a non steel toe when you're used to it. Yeah, but actually, the way I almost broke it is I was carrying square tubing and didn't think anything about it, and I set that sucker down right on the toe of my shoe, and I knew it real quick.
Yeah.
Um, I've tried wool socks, Tommy. Um, the issue I have with my feet, um, they not only are they wide, but they're tall, and I buy the biggest, like the double E or whatever it is with boots, height wise. Also, the high arch boots and stuff. I don't have a whole lot of extra room inside there. Um, when I start getting too many like socks and stuff in there, that steel toe part, it gets
Start
really
cutting on
cramped. Well, it starts pushing on my toes too bad, and I don't like that. Um,
and
yeah,
well, another
I
thing, another thing about being about being diabetic, I don't have the right feelings in my feet anyway because of
mhm.
neuropathy. So I can be screwed up and hurt my foot and don't even realize it till I take the shoe off. So
Yeah, high end step. Yep, and it's a size 13 boot anyways. So um, try to. I'm very few and far between when I find boots that I like to wear that are comfortable, that are the wide width, high end sole, size 13. Uh, it uh, they just they don't make a whole lot of boots for big bare feet. You know. Now over the summer there, or towards fall, I did finally break down and buy a new pair of casual, like hiking boots type shoes. Something nice that if I want to go out and I don't have to wear my old nasty greasy tore up work boots. I did buy those. I found them online, but it took me a little while to find them in my size, up to size 12. No big deal. I can find them for a decent price for what you know. I didn't want to spend $100 on a pair of shoes I'm only going to wear a half a dozen times a year. You know,
yeah,
so but uh, but it turned out the event that I was bought them for, half the people that showed up in blue jeans and their old work boots anyways. So, you know, I had nice khakis and a nice shirt on and, you know, a decent pair of these shoes. So I, uh, I kind of felt out of place anyways. Matterhorn MT. I'll have to look at that, Scott. See what they offer. I used to love the Durashocks. Um, I used to get them all the time. When I worked in the oil field, that's the only thing I wore when I worked in the oil field. And the bad part about it is I would go through them in like 6 months. One because of the brine water and the crude oil, but the insoles would just could totally just get destroyed because I was constantly on my feet. And then I tried them when I left the oil field. I bought another pair because I went. How would I go after the oil field? Oh, I went and did the vinyl graphics. I was actually working in the shop. Yeah, 6 months was pushing it before the insoles and stuff got all tore up and everything. So I quit buying those and went to some other stuff and tried. I've tried Red Wings and you know whole slew of different work boots and everything. And finally, I was just down to buying the cheap Walmart, $35 boots and would replace them every about 4 months or 5 months. And the one time I went to Walmart to get a new pair, they didn't have them, and I needed them because my old boots were ripping out. And I went someplace else, and they had the cat boots. So I was looking at those, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll give these a try. And knock on wood, they've lasted over a year. It's still comfortable to wear and stuff. The only other boots in the last 15 years that I've bought that lasted this long come from my ex-son-in-law who was in the Marines. He got me a pair of their boots right before he got out. He got a brand new pair for me, 13 wide, high insole, and I wore them things for damn near 2 years. And the top part of the boot and the inside was still great. The sole itself split right down like where my foot bends. They like dried out or whatever, and I mean they were still comfortable to wear even after that happened. But it was getting to be wintertime, and every little puddle that I would step in, it was like a sponge that water would like shoot right up into my boot. So that's why I needed the. That's why I went with the cats. Um, Now he told me that when because every time he was stationed out in California for the last 9 months that he was in the military, um, he said every time they would even over when he was overseas, they would get a new pair of boots. He'd ship them home, and his parents would ship him a pair of Timberlands. Um, they were acceptable replacements for their boots, but so and his brother would wear the boots that he would send home because his brother loved them. He hated them, so he'd get Timberlands. His brother would buy him a pair of Timberlands and send them to him, and he did try to get me a pair of bunny boots. So he was cool with the the guy that would order all their stuff. And like I said, he was stationed in California for his last 9 months. And like 2 months before he's ready to get out, he's like, "Yeah, Dad." I'll get you a couple pair of boots. I'm allowed to order them. And he turned the order in for bunny boots. And his buddy's like, "Really, dude?" He said, "You're out in like 2 months, and you're stationed in California." He said, "What do you need bunny boots for?" Well, I just need them. My feet are getting cold. He's like, "Oh, come on, dude." He goes, "I can't." He goes, "I can't hide a pair of bunny boots." You know. So He's like, yeah. He goes, sorry, Dad, I couldn't get you a pair. He goes, but I got buddies that are still in. He goes, if they go someplace that it's possibly going to be cold, he goes, I'll see if they can get you a pair. Well, the rest of his unit and everything, they were still in country a year later, and they were all getting out. So he's like, yeah. He goes, I don't know anybody that's going to a cold climate that can order them, or can request them. So. Yeah, Tommy. I used to wear the Joe insoles like with my other boots and stuff. I used to buy the Joe insoles once the DuraShock thing would start going bad. The only thing I hated about them is that the soles would move, inside and get balled up in the front or whatever, and so for probably a year and a half, I had heel spurs when I was working when I was doing graphics. So I'd get the gel heel cup things, and that's the only way I could actually walk. If I was out of town and them things would start going bad, dude, I was finding a Walmart or a Myers or whatever, because they hurt. If you never had a heel spur, they hurt.
Yep.
But so, all right. What tech time is it? We're almost 10:30. We're an hour and a half into it. Hey, Cajun Coin Hunter, how you doing, buddy? But so yeah, ooh. So but yeah, all right. Let's change subjects. I'm tired of talking about feet. I hate feet. I hate my own feet. So, but so yeah, back to the pulling tractors, I guess. If
Same to you, Cajun.
if I can't get the machine work done, early enough this week, I'll probably have to do a different video on something else, which will probably be rewiring Plan B, because I need to do that too for next year. And I'm probably also gonna need to figure out a way to haul two tractors. My brother just bought a new 18-foot, 18-foot trailer. I think it's 16 or 18 feet. Really nice trailer. I just don't know if it'd be too much for my old truck.
Oh, well, he's got that new truck too, Ed. Just go over and get the new trailer and the new truck and bring it back the next day.
He's already told me I can use it if I want. I just don't like doing that. I don't like borrowing other people's trucks. Borrowing a trailer is one thing, but borrowing their truck, Happy New Year to you too, Cajun. I was kind of hoping that this roof deal and stuff would be done, and I'd know how much extra money I got in the savings and stuff, and go out and find me another truck. But they're dragging their feet and shit on it, so I'm not real happy right now. I don't even want to get into that shit tonight. But yeah, Plan B needs rewired like badly. Especially since I melted those coils down. I want to eliminate the key switch and just put a master disconnect switch on it, and one master disconnect, a regular switch, toggle switch for the fuel pump, a toggle switch for the ignition, and then I'm kind of debating whether I want to go with lit switches or. All right, Tommy or Thomas, thank you very much for stopping in, buddy.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, 3 a.m. does come early, Thomas. Yeah, that is a really good deal. My actual plan all last summer was I was going to, in the fall, I was going to buy a 14-foot box trailer, cargo trailer, until I started looking at the prices. I was able to buy a 2 years ago. I was able to buy a 16-foot enclosed trailer, cargo trailer, for right around $2,000. Dude, they're like $3,500, $4,000 now for the same exact trailer. They didn't change anything on them. So, hey, Second Chance. How you doing, bud? Thank you for saying hi. Appreciate it. Please, everybody, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Hey, speak of the devil when he shows up. Hi, Ken. How you doing, bud?
Hi, Ken.
Hope you're having a good New Year's. But all right. I'm gonna turn my camera off. Daryl, can you handle things for a few minutes? I need to get rid of some of this coffee, and I need to check my pork and sauerkraut. So I will be right back, y'all.
All right. So how you been doing there, Second Chance? I bought a 16-foot enclosed trailer about 4 years ago, I think now, that I ended up paying about $5,000 for the enclosed. 16-foot, 7 wide. So you're doing good there, Wayne. A brand new trailer, and even if it ain't enclosed, that's still a good price. And it was. Yeah, well, I kind of mine was I bought it for $5,000, but the salesman didn't really look at the serial number till after I had it hooked up to my truck and I was getting ready to pull out the yard, and he seen that since I had the 16x7, and I had the extra foot height on the inside of it. He didn't realize that until I had it hooked up, or mine would have been $5,800. I told him no. I told him, I said, look, you're gonna have to. But they still screwed me. I mean, I bought it in South Carolina. They made me pay the sales tax in South Carolina and then get up here in Virginia, and I still had to pay the sales tax again. So, I mean, so they got me with sales tax in both places. So, but I was in South Carolina when I needed the trailer, so I couldn't argue too much with them, I don't guess. So, I mean, most of the time, Tommy, the U-Haul stuff is usually so daggone wore out. It's not even worth fixing back up. But I mean, you do see a few of them that they sell, but most of that stuff they either scrap it, or I mean, I ain't seen no U-Haul trailers and stuff like that in a long doggone time to where they've been releasing them. They pretty much recycle them and do them over. So
much for that be a nice trailer to have. And no, I haven't seen U-Haul trailers that are worth anything be sold off. And usually they're short. The box ones are short top ones, anyways.
yeah.
They're not the tall ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought my mine's 5x10. I bought it off a guy I work with probably 5 years ago or so. Gave him $400 for it. I had to try my Polish sausage and sauerkraut.
Welcome back, Harold. That's kind of what I thought their second chance. I know some in the 80s, early 80s, and maybe late 80s. You might could find a U-Haul truck or something other, but they usually took the beds off of them and they'd go ahead and destroy them because they're kind of proprietary for U-Haul. They're size basically they're spec'd out for U-Haul and U-Haul only. So
I mean, you can still find some every once in a while, but you won't find anything like really new.
No, they're pretty much at the end of their life if U-Haul's getting rid of them. So I mean,
Now there is an auction over in PA that I was watching there that sell off like the old Ryder box trucks and stuff and moving trucks and stuff, and sometimes they'll have 20 or 30 of them suckers over there.
Yeah, Ryder and Enterprise, and there's several of them that still Penske. They all sell their trucks off.
Yeah,
but that's the thing about it was the cab chassis and stuff like that. You occasionally can find one of those for U-Haul, the orange and white, but they mostly just sell them in case they realized they ended up putting too much money in fixing a motor on the road or something or another, and so they send it. They'll take the box off of it and then send it to the auction. But I mean,
what I've seen with U-Hauls is they went to them Ford chassis, and I've seen a lot of different videos and stuff on them. They're actually breaking the transmissions, like breaking them in half.
Yeah,
because of the torque and stuff on them.
Well, and most of it's proprietary setups just for U-Haul. They're geared low, and they're geared. If you look at the back of their trailers and stuff, they got do not move. You're not supposed to tow them over 45 mile an hour. I mean, they got that sticker and all on them that said do not tow them over 45 mile an hour. But those trucks are, like I said, they're built for Penske and them. They're a leasing company, so they'll lease out the companies. They'll lease out if you needed a 20 foot box and 20 by 8 box with roll up doors and whatever else, they will turn around and order that truck in for you to lease it through them they get their money off of it. But U-Haul has kind half-inch sizes and stuff like that. If you look at their dimensions in the box, as far as the boxes goes, and
Well, and the way the boxes are set down on the chassis to get the
yeah,
low loading height too.
yeah,
Um, most people don't want that, so they can put the skids and stuff like that in there.
yeah,
But yeah, I was actually looking at a couple of the Penske trucks or Ryder or Penske, whatever, whichever way you want to call it. If it wasn't for the deck height, if I could get one that had a lift gate on it that did the straight up and down lift, um, yeah, I mean I would definitely look at one of those for hauling the pulling tractors and stuff.
well,
But
they're expensive though, because I mean, if it's deck height and all that stuff, I mean, they get expensive with that lift on the back of them. But
mhm,
you can get them. There's a place down
yeah,
in Tennessee that's got probably last time I looked at their web page, had hundreds of the Ryder ones, and then like I said, Enterprise Rental, they got they theirs is more like a standard sizes, but as far as this, you can get you can, but but then it's a more or less at least they spec the truck out for what you gonna need it for, instead
right,
of, I mean, those U-Haul trailers and stuff, they're specific. They're built for just hauling like furniture or something other else. They ain't built for hauling weight and all that stuff. So
right, which I'm fine with. I just want them to haul pulling tractors.
yeah, and they put that doggone low geared rear end in them, so they can't run about 60 mile an hour on them U-Haul trucks too. So
Right.
I mean, not the pickup trucks, but the trucks that's got the box on the back of them.
Hmm.
So
Well, and that's one reason I was looking at the mini buses.
yeah,
Um, like I said, they're 1 tons. You can, and I was going to use it to tow with, but then I was starting. I'm like thinking, well, if I get, because they make a mid size between the mini bus and the big regular bus, but they're a full size bus, but they're just
yeah,
not as many passenger. Um, I've just what I've found with those, it's a pain in the butt to get them retitled as like an RV or a toter. It used to be you could as long as you took the seats out and had it inspected, you could get it titled as an RV. But there's so many people buying them to convert them into RVs now that the
yeah,
inspection and get the fees and everything else is just a huge pain in the butt. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I
That's
I know a guy that he's got a kind of an inn at one of the cities that has like the transit buses.
yeah,
And he's like, dude, he goes, I can get you one of them for, $500-600 when they come up for auction. The only problem is it's the Ford motor and transmission in them. And I'm like, no, I'm not interested. If they come up with a Chevy, I'd be interested, but I'm not sold on those Ford motors and transmissions. So, because I even thought about, like a regular, transit bus style, which would be okay with me, you know.
yeah. There's um, they got they used to them old school buses. You used to get them basically nothing.
Mhm.
You could take them motors out of them old school buses and throw them in a pickup truck and drive them forever.
Right.
But you can buy them cheap. Buy the bus is cheaper than you can buy the daggone motor by itself. So
Yeah. That's another reason I was looking at the van front minibuses. There at one point in time, I was seeing them for $500-600 a piece, but ever since I've like decide, yeah, it's what I want to buy, I haven't been able to find any, you know.
Let's see.
Now, I did find one over in PA that was in really good shape, and somebody bought it for the motor and transmission. It's a Chevy, um, and they only wanted like $400 for it, but it was clear on the other side of PA, so I'd have to rent a car trailer big enough to haul that, that vehicle and stuff on. It's like 7.5 hours away. Go over, get it. You know, by the time I did that, rented a trailer, paid for the gas, got a hotel because I wouldn't want to do it all in one day. I'd be $1,500 into it, and so I might as well find one local for $1,500. So, I what I thought about is because the ones I was finding were like down in Georgia and all that kind of stuff. I could do like a will it start, will it make it home video. Talk my brother into making a road trip. Drive down, get the thing, make sure it runs, drive it back, see if it'll,
Yeah.
Will it run and drive? Will it make it home without leaving me stranded alongside the road?
Yeah. But that's you just about got the only thing about those is you got to register with the state and for them to get put on the daggum list to find out when they having those auctions and all that stuff. I mean, there might be one right down the street from where you're at, but you'll never know the date of it if you're not on that doggone list because they don't publish the actual auction unless you're on that list.
Well, I watch some of the local ones here in Ohio. They're just not selling what I want.
Well, right down there next to Columbus, they build bluebirds now. I mean, but
I,
if you want a big one,
I've got Myers bus sales within an hour of me, and they sell bluebird, they sell the Myers, they sell all different kinds of them, and we used to deal with them because we used to have a bus at work, and everything, and I called up and talked to our old salesman up there, which is, I mean, he lives close to where the university's. That's why he's our salesman. Super nice guy, and he goes, I ain't got anything, that's everything we have is a trade in that is, $10,000. So I said, well, keep your eyes open. You come across a doggy one, let me know. He said, okay. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'll definitely keep you in mind, because their guys are always going to the auctions and doing this and doing that, and right there, diesel. I don't want a diesel. I don't. The price of diesel fuel, and I would never use it to its potential. So, my brother had a diesel for years. Great truck and everything. Would tow anything you wanted to tow with it, but 99% of the time it was a grocery getter. So, and then, like I said, the price of diesel fuel nowadays, you're not getting any better gas mileage than gas. So there's really no sense in beating up a diesel and tearing a diesel up, as a grocery getter and paying $1.50 more a gallon. So I'll stick with my gas. I'll find some. I mean, like I said, right now I've kind of changed my priorities on what I need to do. And probably what I'll end up doing is one weekend I'll take the
Well,
green track.
right
I'll take
now the used up car market is still working off of COVID. I mean,
mhm,
the prices of used cars actually went up during COVID because they couldn't get new ones, and they're coming down, but the car lots ain't really wanting to turn their cars loose because
right.
they still got that gap in there for the 2 years that they basically didn't build no new cars.
Yep.
So they're holding steady with the prices. So you're gonna have to get somewhere besides on a car lot to be able to find them. I
Yep.
mean,
And the other thing that's starting to show up now is the shoddiness of
yeah,
the assembly of those cars.
yeah,
Um, I've been, you know how you get the notifications on different videos and stuff of people you're not subscribed to and stuff. And I've been clicking on a few of those, and they've got some that are like 2023s, 2022s, 2023s that's got less than 10,000 miles on them, and the
yeah.
the motors are junk in them. I seen one. I want to say it was Chevy. 38 miles. The engine developed a noise, brought it back. They opened it up. One of the pistons was installed upside down.
Well, it's
You
work.
know,
They're not. There is nothing made in this doggone in the United States anymore. I mean, they might be assembled here, but they're not
right,
made here anymore.
right.
And I mean, all
Well,
the doggone motors and everything else, they're assembled those. They're made in either Mexico or overseas, China.
Pablo got busted for that bad.
I mean,
and what it is during the COVID when everything was shut down and people weren't working, they're
yeah,
trying to get caught back up. So they're throwing these things together left, right, and sideways and making these people work, twice as hard. And
COVID.
mhm.
they're as long as they're meeting their quota, they don't care. You know, I hate to say that they don't care, but
Train, it's like a rumble.
But I mean,
Yeah,
and then they
Pablo got
come
busted for
out
that shit.
now you drive on a doggone lot. They can't sell pickup trucks, new pickup trucks, because you ride on a lot and they're somewhere between $80,000 to $100,000. Who in the hell can pay for a damn $100,000 pickup truck?
not me.
I mean,
Somebody who's headed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, Tommy. Um, Sorry to say, buddy, you cannot trust a used car salesman. Um, well, I looked into getting like a $25,000 loan, um, just a personal loan and everything.
America.
Uh, the furthest out they would let me stretch it out was 4 years. Dude, it was going to be like $700 a month, $750 a month. I don't have extra $750 a month. If I had an extra $750 a month, I wouldn't need a loan. You
yeah.
know, so yeah, I don't want to refinance my house to buy another vehicle. You know,
It's
because I was gonna my plan is to get the 25,000. Buy a truck, buy a trailer. Pay for some repairs on the house and just do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if I had $750 a month, then I wouldn't need the
well,
loan.
if you take now and you go up to $100,000 for a daggone pickup truck. I mean, I could buy a daggone semi truck where I could make some use it to make money with instead of just something to ride around town with. I mean, a parking lot queen ain't gonna don't make no money. I mean,
But 5 years ago, a friend of mine, guy I know that owns a body shop, he does a lot of work for a used car salesman or used car lot. And he called me one day and said, he goes, dude, he goes, you got to come down and check out this truck. He said, it is you. He said, it is your truck. He said, this thing has your name written all over it. Went down, looked at it. Yep. Dodge Ram, 3500, dually, crew cab, mega cab, you know, had the gas motor in it, not the diesel. This thing had everything in it you could possibly even think about. One. I said, yeah. I said, dude, that is, what do they want for that thing? He goes, you don't want to know. I'm like, yeah, I said, it's used. It's got, 70,000 miles or something like that on it. He said, you don't want to know. He said, I asked him when the salesman dropped it off. He said, their minimum starting was 82,000 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh.
Well,
I'm like, can they do a 30-year loan?
I walked in over the Chevrolet place because, like I said, around here you can get the oil changed at the Chevrolet place cheaper than I can actually go out there and crawl all on the truck myself to do it.
Yeah.
And get the tires rotated and everything else. So I took and I always usually take my truck over to Chevrolet dealer to get the oil changed and all in it. And I walked around their lot over there, and 80, 90, they had a daggum SUV sitting in the daggum showroom that was over $100 and some thousand. I said, what the? I mean, what? I mean, I had to live in that son of a gun for a daggum $100,000.
Well, back when I looked at that truck, my total mortgage on my house was $78,000. That truck was more than my house.
Yeah, that's this one.
Well, I mean, mine was. I mean, when I bought my double wide trailer, it was a little over $40,000, and it was, and I mean, this dog on 2015, I paid right at 30 grand for it, but the price has shot up so much. I had so much equity in it. I went back and borrowed more money against that to get it below our interest rate because my credit gotten a whole lot better. So I got a lot lower interest rate and refinanced it. And I got a few extra $1,000 out of it just to keep it so much.
But that's all the debt we got.
I mean, it cleared up most all. I borrowed enough to clear up all my debt with it. So
that's the only debt we got now.
So that's the only thing I got to worry about now every month is that truck payment. And if things gets worse than what they are, that truck payment's a whole lot easier to let the repo man come out there and find it. But I mean, than to come get anything else I got. So.
Well, so and that's the whole reason. When I bought this place, I set up a separate checking account and had direct deposit from my paycheck into that account and had automatic pay. And I don't touch that account, and it gets paid every month. My taxes are paid, my insurance is paid, everything's paid out of that account through my mortgage. And that's one thing that when I set everything up, it's like, I don't care. I will lose everything. I will sell everything else. I am not buying another house. I'm not, and nowadays, I just, out of curiosity, you look through the rental ads and stuff like that. Dude, they're wanting rent on an apartment, like a 2-bedroom apartment, that is $150 more a month than what I'm paying in my mortgage.
Dude, a 2-bedroom apartment a year.
They're around. They're well over $1,000 now for 2-bedroom apartments around here because
of
Volvo.
And I mean because of Volvo sitting right here. But I mean, but then but you got to look at it though. Because of COVID, it took up over 2 years. I mean, well, the coof. We better quit saying that word. I ain't want to get you struck.
Yeah.
the funky flu. Anyway, the people that had bought property to rent out and all that stuff, they had to basically, they couldn't kick them out. So, I mean, people quit paying rent in some places. I seen a guy the other day. He finally got one of the people out of his house that he hadn't paid on in 2 daggum years, paid rent on in 2 years. I mean, and it took him that long to get them out because of the fact that they were disabled. All you got to say is one of my kids is disabled, or if they got kids, you can't hardly get them out of rental property down here no more. So it's just
rent is just stupid nowadays. I can remember renting a house back with my ex-wife, 2 bedroom on like a half an acre, everything, and I thought $400 a month was expensive. Of course that was 25 years or so ago, but I couldn't imagine having to rent a place now. Over the summer, I was kind of looking at renting a bigger garage local here.
Well,
I found a couple places. They were dumps. It was 20 by 30 garage space, almost $2,000 a month, and that didn't include electric or gas, or it included water because it had a bathroom with it. But I'm like, what? I'll go out and buy land and build a bigger shop, before I pay that for rent.
Yeah, I mean, I could back around 2000. Heck, I had my double wide and all the expenses with it, the electricity, the water, the electricity, and all that stuff. It was less than $500 a month. I mean, and that was including the insurance on it. So, I mean, but nowadays, it's just rent on a place is housing for is $1,500. I mean,
yeah, Mudster says they rent out their basement. It pays their mortgage. Honestly, what I was contemplating in there for a little bit is find me another 2 or 3 acres someplace, bare land, build me a nice big shop with a little apartment, rent this place out, and pay for the other one, or pay for both of them. Because I was figuring on a 2 acre, 3 bedroom house with a garage, with an indoor pool, or not indoor, but in ground pool. I could get $2,500, $3,000 a month, and if I could find the right piece of property and get the building built right, I could definitely pay for all that, So,
yeah.
And then I could have my big dream shop, my 100-foot, 10,000 square foot shop with my little apartment and stuff, and have room for all my toys or all my hoard.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay, come on.
until I get this roof and siding and everything else all straightened out, I can't do anything. So
That's the third time I've tried your lunch. Come on.
But yeah, so
You're right.
We're under an hour, everybody. It's
Yeah.
almost time.
I'm sitting here. Delisa just turned the television,
From around the world.
and she's showing the
I tell you,
things from around the world as far as
these countries make us look like shit. That's all I'm saying. And they make the fucking fireworks
20 miles from here. Grucci.
Uh,
Yeah, but they make them big.
you got to look at it. There'll be one in each time zone. So you got New York. You just think about New York, but then you got Chicago that does theirs. Chicago, Atlanta does be the same as the New York one. And they move east to west. So
Yeah, it was Sydney now. They was doing Paris, Dubai. Hands down, they're the best.
all right.
That country's got.
I mean, you can tell it's getting closer because they showed London a few minutes ago. So, man, London's what, 5 hours from here? 5 hours behind us, ahead of us. I mean,
ahead of us. They're like, well, depending on where you're at, I think they're like closer to 6. I actually have a friend that's over in the UK right now, and like for the last like couple of days, she's been posting pictures and everything, and I'm like, oh, this must have been from her trip that her and her daughter took, couple 2-3 years back. Then I started looking at the pictures. I'm like, no, that's her daughter now. So they're over there now, and so.
There was one country that does fireworks every.
Tommy said he's already 4 hours into next year. So
Yeah.
we're looking at Tommy in the future.
Tommy, buddy, send me some winning lottery numbers for the U.S.
Yeah. What's the winning Powerball numbers since you're 4 hours ahead of us?
Yeah, I'll split it with you, brother. Get that big Mega Millions where it's like 50-some $1 million, dude. I'll split it with you. I'm not greedy.
Shoot, nowadays they go into the bit. It's made it up in the billions now. The last 2 biggest ones have been in the billions. So
yeah,
shoot, we could almost. If Tommy gets us the right numbers, then we could just buy it. We'll just buy the big pond and he can get out and ride around on a boat all he wants. Then
this last lottery, I missed winning the jackpot. I had 2 numbers, and I've got the card in my thing. I was reading them off, and I thought, I was like, did I win? I started sweating reading them off one.
Well, for my birthday, my oldest brother got me. It must have been my oldest brother got me scratch off tickets. Does every year. I usually win maybe $1 or something. I won $9.
$9 whole.
$9 whole.
Well, my ex, she won $500 one time on the Powerball when it first come into the state of South Carolina. And that's the only thing we've ever won. I've ever won off of any of it. So
the most I've ever won on the lottery. This is back when I used to do vinyl graphics. I had a little routine. Anytime we went and worked at a gas station, the last day we were there, I'd always buy 1 scratch off ticket. Just got to be habit. One, whatever. Just tell the lady or person that's working in there, hey, just you pick whatever, $1 or $2, because that's what they were back then. Just pick one for me. It's a little thing I do. I won $50. It was a $25 winner. It was a doubler. I scratched it off. I'm like, oh, I won $25. Handed it to her, and she scans it. She's like, no, you won 50. I'm like, huh? She goes, yeah, you didn't scratch off the doubler thing. And she goes, you got the doubler. You won $50. I'm like, oh, cool. And then we started talking and everything. She goes, well, how often do you win? I'm like, I've been doing this for 2 years, and this is the first time I've ever won anything. She's like, really? She goes, I'm like, yeah. And I work at 2 or 3 gas stations a week. Sometimes more than that. But that's the most I've ever won. And I don't even buy tickets anymore. Not even for the big lotteries and stuff like that. I may get into like the 50-50 drawings at the tractor pulls. just to support the club. I think I won one time for like 25 or $30 or something like that was the split. There wasn't a lot of people there, so a lot of people didn't enter. I just donated it back to the club. I just, you know,
Yeah.
usually it's a good standing that if I'm going to put money on something, like even if it's like a football game, if I'm going to bet on this team, you better bet on the other one because they're going to win.
That's the way it is with me.
Even if the team I'm betting on is favored to win, like 100-1 or whatever however they do that. I don't even know how they do that stuff, but if they're the favorites to win and everything, if I put money on them, I'm going to lose that money because it's just the way they are. So like I said, if you see me betting on something, you go ahead and bet on totally opposite, and you'll make your money. So
yeah, I'm glad I ain't never got into horse racing because I definitely would be broke.
Well, it used to be a funny thing. They used to do the March Madness picks every year at work. Even though it says right in our handbook we're not supposed to gamble and all that kind of stuff. And the one guy that ran the one every year, he'd come to me, here, fill this out. I'm like, dude, I don't. He's like, no, it doesn't cost you anything, and if you win, we're a bunch of us took a gather or a pull up, and we're gonna give $100. I'm like, dude, I don't gamble, I don't bet because it doesn't cost you anything, man. He said, just fill the thing out, turn it in. I'm like, okay. So I sat down and looked through, picked the first team I recognized to put on the one side. On the other side, I picked the other team that I recognized and put them in the finals and just kind of filled it in that way. I come damn close to winning. I don't follow basketball. I don't, I know the Cleveland Browns, or not Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and a couple other teams. I know them, but to see where they're at in the rankings or anything like that, I have no freaking clue, or who's on the team or anything like that. And he's like, dude, he goes, you're doing good. I said, this is how I filled it out. I picked the first team on this side that I recognized, and I picked the team on this side that I recognized, put them as the final two, and then just filled the rest out however I felt they would, win.
But you're up there. Well, you're also up there in hockey country. They were. They used to be sitting on unloading my trailers and stuff, and all they was talking about was minor league hockey, and they asked me that I wanted to get in on their bet. I said, wait a minute, I'm from South Carolina. How in the hell am I going to? How in the heck am I going to collect my wins if I did win? Pick it out. I said, South Carolina, we're more football than hockey up down there. We don't have enough ice down there to worry about having a hockey. I think that was around Sandusky or somewhere up there, but.
Yeah, well, I watch the news first thing in the morning, just basically to get the weather forecast and know what's going on locally and that. So I knew the Cleveland Browns had a chance to get into the playoffs. If the dog lifted his left leg and the cat ran around the tree to the right 3 times, just all kinds of stuff. All this stuff had to fall into place for them to win. To get into the playoffs. I didn't even know they got into the playoffs until I watched a TikTok from somebody that was a Browns fan, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm like, when did this happen?" Because when I'm on vacation like this, I don't turn the news on because I don't really need to see the weather. I'm not I'm not worried about snow or anything or rain or anything. I'm going to be either in the house here doing something or I'm going to be in the garage doing something. I didn't have anything planned to do outside. So, I mean, if the roads got snowy and icy, I didn't have to go no place, you know. So I wasn't even watching. I didn't even. I mean, I guess it'd been 3 or 4 days since they got into the playoffs. So I had no clue until I was watching a TikTok. It didn't even pop up on Facebook that like it usually does. That Browns made the playoffs. Blah blah blah. So you know shows you how big of a football fan I am, and I'm a half hour from the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean that's what you say. You just across the interstate from that. I mean,
Yep.
But I mean this. I have went past that place a heap of times, but
Me too.
I always try to look, but the way that doggone place is laid out, you can't tell whether they've got a place to park trucks or not in the back of it.
Now they do. Back then, yeah, you probably could have got a truck in there, but I hope back when I worked at the truck garage, I drove by it every day on my way to work. If I would just, instead of going one way on 77, if I would have went the other way, I was right there. Instead of getting on 77, if I take the exit right there before it, I went right to the Hall of Fame. Same way I'm going home. I got off at the exit that gets you to the Hall of Fame every day, 6 days a week, and I haven't been there in years.
Yeah,
I've only been there. Well, when I worked for the graphics company, I was there for a week doing signage, but they were redoing a whole lot of the inside of it and moving displays and stuff around, so we didn't really get to go tour it or anything. And then once when I was in school, we went, and once after I got out of school, we went up and went through it kind of quickly, and it was like midsummer when they're doing their changing and stuff like that and remodeling, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But probably since the late 90s, early 2000s, I haven't been there.
Well, I made the mistake of not paying attention one time, and I went up through there when they were having the induction. They were inducting some people into the Hall of Fame, and that damn place was stacked, put all kinds of cars around that place then. So, and the traffic and everything else was crazy getting around through there.
But a really good friend of mine, up till he passed away, somebody he knew could get us in on the field, sidelines every year for the playoff, for the Hall of Fame game, and then they hold the high school playoffs there,
Yeah.
for the local high schools. He was there every day for all the games right there. He had free access any place he wanted to go. And he invited me up a couple of times for the it wasn't the Hall of Fame game. It was something else right before the Hall of Fame game. It was a big game, but it wasn't the Hall of Fame game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not into football that much. He's like, dude, just come up for the atmosphere. I'm like, I'm not all about that. So
the baseball is right in that area too, ain't it? The Hall of Fame for baseball, or am I thinking of something else?
Something else. Must be something else. There's a Henry Ford Museum here, Henry Ford, and there's a couple of different museums and stuff. But not. No, I don't. The Baseball Hall of Fame's not here.
Well, some of the best loads I ever got was right. It was like I said, that casting company up there where back over there where somewhere next where y'all was talking. We was talking about that low overpass back over there where they made that cast parts for them trains and stuff like that. So I mean, 10, 12, $14 a daggone mile to come back here.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
But I mean, there was.
Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm with an hour and a half or so of that. I've never been there.
That might be what I was thinking about. I mean,
the Rock and
past past several things right in that area somewhere, but I didn't know.
Well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's up in Cleveland. It's not that far from me.
Our fireworks is gonna be shitty compared to
I've never been there. I would like to go sometime, but
and Grucci.
But nobody I know or hang out with wants to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So,
well, I'm ugly enough to go to the Hall of Fame, but I mean, but I don't got the hair no more. I used to have the hair, but the hair to be one of them hair bands. But I ain't got the hair to get in the Hall of Fame no more.
Yeah, well, they're actually adding on to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Cool deal.
Yes. Funny thing, Scott, my daughter, before she was even 16, went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and had no clue that she went. Her and a couple of her friends had bus passes, because she had a bunch of friends that lived the next city over. And we were okay with her having a bus pass to, get back and forth and do stuff like that. Apparently her and her friends one day decided that they were going to go to Cleveland. And we're talking like 15 years old, rode the SARTA buses, transferred I don't know how many times to get to Cleveland, went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, went a couple other places, come back home, and we had no clue that they did it until like 6-7 years later.
Oh my God! I feel like you're kidnapping my child. Bring her back to your shit, and then you can take off with her.
Yeah, well, that was
the only reason I found out is I was talking about it one day, like that. She's like, "Oh yeah, Dad, you need to go because it's cool." So I'm like, "When have you been there?" And she's like, and then told us to start. I'm like, okay.
Statute of limitations had run more out by then.
Right. And then her and her ex-fiance, I mean, they go to, they get a wild hair up their ass, and they go to Cleveland for, just whatever, just up, go and hang out and for the day and everything. And
yeah. I'll be back in just a minute there, Ed. I got to go get me a refill.
But so yeah, maybe I should put the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on my bucket list. I can go up there, and there's a bunch of other museums and stuff I'd like to go see too. I'd love to go back to DC again. Do that again. I was last time I was in DC was the first year that they opened the Holocaust Museum. We were some of the first 10,000 people that went through it. I don't know how it is now, but back then that was a very emotional museum. But yeah, I would like to go back to DC and see all them. DC is dangerous now. Back when I went back when I went to DC, I had a couple good friends that actually lived right in Prince George's County. So we would go stay. We went and stayed with them at their house, and then they knew the metro buses or trains and stuff to do it. And then we actually went like during the day and did a lot of the museums with the kids and stuff. And then at night, after all the places had closed, but were still open to like foot traffic, you could get to the outside. Like, they took us around. Like I said, I don't know how it is now, but it is a totally different experience going and seeing like the Washington Monument, Lincoln Monument, and all that kind of stuff after dark when they're all lit up and stuff. Dude, it's just 100% just awesome, you know.
Yeah, nowadays you don't know who's protesting or what up there, all and all that stuff. So no,
Right.
and then once you get away from the little bit of touristy area there, it's run down slums now. I mean,
Well, see, I could go back and do like the Smithsonian Natural History Museum stuff, dude. I could probably spend a week in there. The last time I went there was with the kids when they were young, like real young, and a lot of the stuff didn't interest them, you know. But I could go back and I want to go back. I've been to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum probably 3 times or 4 times now, dude. I would love to go back there again.
I've been in it once.
And the not the very first time. Well, yeah, basically the very first time I was there, it's like, man, I'm not into Indy racing. That's roundy round racing. I'm not into that.
Well,
There is so much interesting information and everything in there on racing itself, the history of it and everything. I could go back again and do it again. Every time I've been there, I've found something new and interesting. I was to Williamsburg, VA once years and years ago when I was young with my parents and stuff. We didn't spend a whole lot of time there, but yeah, I would like to go back to Williamsburg.
I've been
Williamsburg.
to Williamsburg. I've been to Williamsburg, but I was sitting behind the doggone place because I had to pick up a load of beer there, and I was riding to the backside of it where nothing smelled good at. I can tell you that.
I would like to go to Williamsburg. I'd like to go to Gettysburg. I'd like to go to Salem, where the witch trials and stuff are at. I would love to go there and see all that. I like the old museums like that. One of the things I would love to do, if I could find a good one, is a steam locomotive trip, and not just one. That goes like a half an hour down the track and turns around and comes back. I did find one out west. It actually goes up into Canada, and I think they do a 3-day and a 5-day trip. That was like 10 years ago, and it was like $3,000 or something like that to do the whole entire trip. It sounds like an interesting trip, but not for that kind of money, But yeah, I like the steam locomotives and steam engines and stuff like that. It's just it's the way my mind works with the mechanical, and I could stand and watch a steam engine run for a couple hours. My ex fiance. Anytime we went to any place that had like the steam engine, she's like, "Okay, I'll see you in a couple hours." I'm gonna go over here and look at this crafty stuff, and yeah, I'd go over and check them out. It's just like I said, it's just the way my mind works. seeing all the open gears and mechanisms and how they work and all that kind of stuff. So
Well, we got that. That 611 was steam engine. It was the biggest and most powerful steam engine in the country, and fastest, most powerful in the country there for a while. And they built it right here in Roanoke. And they were.
And you can just
They
feel the weight under it when you stand there.
We went and stood side of the doggone railroad tracks and took pictures of it and stuff. But the one day though, we was down here we was just going down here crossing the railroad tracks where we ride the 4-wheelers at, and that one I think it was the 1218. You know, the one Johnny Cash is standing outside of it doing this too. Well, 4501 or whatever. It was the one that Johnny Cash was, because we watched the movie a couple days later, and I mean they were towing it through here. You know, they had an engine in front of it, but
years ago, before I even had my driver's license, my parents lived within a mile or so of a set of railroad tracks, and they heard that there was it was some special engine coming through. It was coming from PA, going up into Ohio somewhere, and then it was going to be coming back through. And we went down, and I had seen the regular, electric trains, the regular Conrail trains and stuff many times. Dude, standing out there along them railroad tracks and that steam engine come by, the sheer size of it just amazed me. That's kind of when I, I'm like, wow, I didn't realize it was, that big, and I'd seen like steam tractors and stuff before and all that kind of stuff. And I like the steam tractors, but like the steam locomotive engines, I guess I didn't grasp the scale of them. And the biggest steam engine ever made in use is just a few hours away from me over in PA. I would like to go. I mean, they don't run it no more. It doesn't run, but it's a static display at a museum. But yeah, I would love to go check that out.
Well, they got a railroad museum in Roanoke, but if you want to go to
the turntable,
the real places that you go to look at steam engines and stuff like that is in Spencer, North Carolina.
That's the turntable.
I mean, that's the turntable where
that's cool as hell.
They got all kinds of them stacked up down there.
There's a big one out in Nevada too that I'd like to go. That would be interesting to go see. I don't know how many engines they have there, and they still run them.
All of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, Scranton, PA got a big place up there too.
Yeah,
we got the y'all had the Spirit of '76, and we had the Spirit of Roanoke is what they named this one. So the 611.
Well, a little side note, interesting to me fact. The little town that I live in, or used to live in, that I grew up in, there is still a trolley road that's right next to the railroad tracks. That they used to run the trolley trains on, and I think my mom or somebody had pictures of it when they were still horse drawn or mule drawn,
Mm-hmm.
And where the place that she grew up in, actually the back of my grandparents' property that was there, backed up to the railroad tracks. My grandfather worked for the railroad before he retired. So he worked in one of the yards, but all the tenders and engineers and stuff knew where he lived. And my mom had 11 brothers and sisters. So they knew what time the trains would come through and what engineers were on them, they would actually go down to the railroad track right as they were getting, knew about when it was, and the tender would throw off shovels of coal for my grandfather to heat their house, and all the brothers and sisters would go down with buckets and stuff, and if the tender seen them standing there, shovel, shovel, shovel as they were going by, dumping that coal off, and they would go along and pick it all up and take it back in. And yes, Tommy, it's a good woman that knows her steam engines.
But I mean, this, but Roanoke, Virginia had they built a lot of stuff right there, out of here with the trains and all that stuff. And then Scranton, PAs, it was another one. But what's the other one? There's another part in PA. It's down kind of sort of the southern part of PA. I can't remember what the name of it is over there now, but they had they built a lot of rail cars and stuff over there too.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about, but I'm also real close to the Ohio Erie Canal, where the canal boats and stuff used to run.
Yeah.
So, and they're still. I mean, it's still there. Some of it you can't even traverse, but
Or they still run the barges up down to Ohio, don't they?
The Ohio River and stuff, yeah. But the Erie Canal, the Ohio Erie Canal,
okay. Yeah,
it's just okay, yeah. Spire, PA built trains.
What was the? Let me ask Lisa here. What was the name of that other town that rail car had?
You muted yourself, Daryl.
But what was the name of the town? I can't remember the town of it. That's what we was trying. I was trying to talk to her about. Find. I
know there's one in Chicago. That's the head office.
No, that was.
Hey, you owe me $20 for this.
No, we just.
Freight card. Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Tommy. I think that's the one that's over in PA. If you're talking about one over here in the States, it was. I think it had 6 drive wheels, and I forget how many front wheel. I forget how they do the numbers. But it was. I mean, it's huge.
Cambria County.
Yeah, what is the name of the town right in that area?
It says here Cambria County. Let me see.
But anyway, it was up there next. It's a little west of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, or a place I'm trying to think of. But it's
I'm actually thinking about trying to make it to that steam show that Jeff talks about over there. I think it's in Brown County or something like that. Beaver County, Brown County. I'm thinking about actually trying to make the spring trip over there to
Johnstown, Pennsylvania. That's where I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Look at the dolphins. Look how they got it on that building. That's amazing.
But yeah, they do a lot of that steam show. It's not actually a steam show. It's a old excavating equipment and stuff like that. A lot of that, big
Yeah.
drag lines and stuff like that. Which I'm good with that stuff too. I mean, anything that's mechanical, you know.
We're going up here, this railroad, it's going to get worse. Remember that night we have that derailment? People coming around there too fast.
Oh, we had a
Oh, shit.
derailment about 4 weeks ago, right down here below the house.
Stop, Millie.
But did you talking about something that was kept hush hush?
Mhm.
I mean, 'cause it happened right above where our water supply comes in, and That-
9 derailed.
9
8
cars.
of them are flat and empty. The very last one was a tanker.
One of them was a tanker, so they
And now all of a sudden, people in that end of town is sick. Just saying.
and I mean
They
it's
sent out a water quality letter 2 weeks later.
yeah, and then
They hiding that shit good.
but they would not. We couldn't even go down there to the creek to ride because of the railroad
Yeah,
track
they
down there.
wouldn't let
The landowner couldn't even go.
they wouldn't let him go back there and look.
He couldn't even go over to the railroad tracks.
Bobby, that's his name.
Oh, when I was real young, back in grade school, a friend of mine's brother worked for Conrail. He was one of the guys that did the cleanup and reset the cars and stuff like that.
And
I don't know how many times he came home with
the
pickup truck loaded with toilet papers and all kinds of stuff like that. The stuff that spilled out of the cars that they were loading in dump trucks and just hauling off and getting rid of. All the guys would load stuff up.
Well, they were
He said-
getting they got in a lot of trouble with what for them trail cars that run off the tracks right next to you up there too, didn't they, Ed? Didn't they try to take it up to Michigan or somewhere, and Michigan busted their butts for trying to slip it into their areas?
Well, there was a lot of places that wouldn't take it. Mark was actually hauling that stuff over into PA there for a while. I don't know if he's back on that or not. I haven't talked to him. I know they were running down south there for a while.
Yeah,
He was
going to be over here at the Volvo plant. And it's about 8 miles from here.
and the thing is though, if listening to the 611 and the 4501, the sound of the whistle is totally different. But we could hear the whistle from the 4501 all the way from Rural Retreat. That's how loud that thing was.
Well, there was 3 trains though. The 1218 was the one trying to cash, and it was the old round steam job.
That's the one that came through here that Graham swore up and down didn't come through here to me. Remember? And I was like,
Yeah.
it did. He was swearing up and down. I was losing my mind. I was like, sit right there on the 4-wheeler one.
Well,
We just luckily found that one that day. But
my parents, where my parents live, at night we didn't have AC, so we always had the windows open. When I was young, still living there, I used to be able to hear the train horns, and they blow them at every crossing, and I could actually count the crossings and know which way the train was going, east or west, and where about it was at by how close the train whistles were.
Where the trains turn around at? It was right beside the Arsenal.
And if the wind was blowing just right, I could hear them. Now I live where I live at here. I mean, there's a railroad track within less than a half a mile away from me, but all the crossings are all above the road. There's tunnels, that you go either over a bridge to go over the track, or the train goes under, so they don't blow the. But if the wind's just right, because it's east of me, if the wind's just right on a like night, dude,
Yeah.
it sounds like that train's pulling in my driveway.
well, that's the way we are. We're up on top of the mountain, and it goes down to the valley. Is where the train is. So that their sound rises. It hits off both sides of the mountain, and it rises up through here. Some nights some nights the doggone train sound like it's coming right through our living room.
He
I
needs
mean,
to go listen to that video.
Yeah.
The security cameras even picked up that derailment.
we got
Well,
Because I
well,
missed he was okay.
the thing about the tracks over here where I'm at, it's one of the few places when they have a long train that they can stop for an extended period of time without blocking a crossing.
yeah.
You know, because all the, like I said, all the tracks either go under the road or over the road.
Yeah, I mean,
so
and that big, like I said, that big casting place that I picked up those train parts from, it was somewhere. So I'm just guessing, but I think it's somewhere right around where y'all are at there.
No,
And-
a friend who
And it had that daggum 12-6 bridge right in front of me, and you got to drive all the way up to it to make it, and then make a right hand turn to get into it. So
Yep.
Graham helped rebuild the 611.
Yeah, I know exactly what bridge you're talking about, and actually now they've actually lowered that. You can get under it.
that was a trip though. You come, they said you could. They told me, I call, when I called for directions, they told me that I had to go all the way around town and come back in the backside, and I said, okay. But from the direction I was coming from the backside anyway. So I zigzagged in and seen the name of the road, and I come up, and all of a sudden I'm trying to find out how to get into the plant because I'm running right up alongside of it, and then there's a and I pull I was trying to figure out how to back the daggone truck back down the road, and then I seen that little gap in the fence, and it was it was a little road that went between the railroad tracks and the and the plant.
Yep.
And that happened to be where I needed to go.
I'll tell you, these trains, they come fucking flying off that damn field. And you hear them hit the brakes, and all you hear is bing, 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 where the cars catch up with each other.
Or you remember the old signals that they have a pole that go up and over, then back down.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be a couple of them right down between a couple of roads where my parents lived. There have been many a times we climb up there, and we thought it was cool as heck to climb up there, but you had to lay perfectly flat, perfectly still until the train got there, because if they seen you,
they'd stop. They would try to stop anyway.
They wouldn't stop, but within just a couple minutes there was a Conrail police, because Conrail had their own police at the time.
Yeah,
there's a Conrail cop right there, and at that point in time they still had their telegraph wires that run alongside there's probably a couple dozen, pure copper wires. Somebody I knew figured out which one of those wires up there that they use on a regular basis, and they would go up and cut like 6 or 8 of them, put a loop in the end of it, go down like a mile or two, cut them there, and use a 4-wheeler to pull them off the poles and coil them up to take them in for scrap. And they.
I tell you what's dangerous: the men working on the tracks and the pickup trucks. You can't hear them, and it's like down here, you can't see. You definitely can't. You think that train's so big and loud? You're sitting there with your 4-wheeler running. You don't hear shit.
Yep.
That's why I got on Dakota about that day. I said, "You're gonna get somebody killed."
These were the same guys that would go 2 or 3 miles down the tracks because the trains had to slow down because they're getting ready to, because it was a long curve because the tracks weren't completely straight, but they'd have to slow down because they're coming in town. They would jump on the trains that had the cars on them, get in the cars, steal the radios and stuff out of them, and I mean, they would ride the train for 20 minutes, and
Well,
going from car
they
break.
I was talking to one of the old codgers up here, and he said that they used to, down around Fort Chiswell, they'd jump on the train and come, and between there and here, up through here, they would get in the boxes and throw the tire. They had them cars loaded with tires, and they'd throw out the tires out the train cars. They went down the track, and then they'd go back and pick them up because there's new tires. So,
Well, and that back when they were doing that was when the car trains were still open. You could actually see the cars and stuff like that.
yeah.
And I had friends that lived right down by the railroad tracks and stuff. I don't know how many times they'd tell me that, oh yeah, we had target practice last night. And I'm like, really? They're like, yeah. Okay. Oh, you got to come down. No, that's okay. Well, I don't need that.
Well, the old man drove a car carrier on, and it was all the time. There'd be kids on the overpasses throwing bricks off the damn overpasses. See how many windshields they could tear off the car, knock out the cars as we went under the overpass.
Yeah, I never did anything malicious like that. I just climbed up on them light tower things just because I thought it was cool as hell when the train would roll underneath you and all that diesel smoke blowing up through and all that kind of stuff. But they've gotten rid of all that stuff now. And I don't know how many, probably hundreds of dollars I've put on the tracks of quarters and pennies and nickels and dimes and all that kind of stuff.
We are under 10 minutes to go to be
8 minutes.
Yep. I got my alarm set, so.
Oh my god. Hey, if he needs a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll call him.
now he's up at 3 o'clock in the damn morning.
Oh.
4:30.
Well, it seems, I mean, I have sent you commented on one of your videos at 3:30, and you have been.
Yeah.
I've commented on some of his stuff, and he answered me back. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, I'm
like, is he out of bed already? Shit, I ain't even sleepy.
Yeah. Well, that's probably one of the nights that I can't sleep. But yeah, I get tomorrow off. That I gotta go back work Tuesday, so I don't plan on sleeping a whole lot tonight. So that I'm good and tired tomorrow night, so I can actually sleep.
Turn it over to a channel that's gonna have the New York one.
I see. I'm on Roku.
Okay, well, just leave it on.
This is coming from anywhere around the world.
And well, maybe it'll be
See,
okay.
you go here. They changed it.
All right.
See, New Year's Central. You got it.
Quit.
You cut right here, and it says "Start the Party," and it'll show
Yeah,
you where they're.
I haven't seen. Did Lisa Ann stop in tonight?
Yeah. Let's see, Lisa Ann. Yeah, I thought she did. I mean, she was one of the first ones, but I don't know whether she came back. She left I think she left a thing on there that said first or something or else or something, and then.
Okay, well, it just hit me because she's a couple hours behind us, so we're gonna celebrate New Year's before she does. So, and Jeff, has anybody heard from Jeff? I was thinking about him when we were talking about PA and stuff.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Jeff around. Hope he's doing okay.
I hope so.
I guess he's gonna run for president, ain't he?
Huh?
They're showing the same thing on channel after channel.
Well, just
Oh
leave
God, couldn't you imagine waking up to that right there?
Yeah, because by his clock, it's already midnight.
it. It's,
That's about the best one right there. They're watching.
Oh, 5
Well-
minutes.
I think they'll come up with a local there in a minute. Yes.
5 minutes.
Yep, down to 5 minutes. Counting down.
But before all the hoopla and everything, thank you everybody for hanging out with me and chilling. And we got like 10 people left in here, and I don't know how many of them are still awake, but yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for making 2023 a great year for me, and hopefully we can do 2024 again and make it even a better year. And from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate everybody. Do appreciate everybody hanging out and watching and hanging. And we're down to 9. Anyways, yeah, I do appreciate it, and I'm trying my best to do good videos and better videos, and so 4 minutes, four, blah blah.
Well, you're liable to start hearing these hillbillies out there with the gun shooting them up in there. Yeah, Scott, she gets wilder and wilder as the night goes on. The more
She's humping you now. She said it's a what's that dude's name?
she's done ate like a daggum horse all day. So
She does it when she eats chocolate. See, watch how she's acting out. Millie.
I'm gonna get my.
I got my countdown going. You guys can't see it, but I got it. We're 3 minutes away, y'all. Hopefully y'all are.
Just do it. Just leave it on there. On that one, it's 2 minutes and 52 seconds. New York key right there. In a second, go back one. Or right there.
I got
Right there. That'd be good enough.
I got my headphones on, so I can't really hear too much going on outside yet. I'm sure I will. My neighbors and stuff usually shoot a bunch of stuff off, but
Yeah. There's Times Square. So
Do you remember?
on television.
this is Time Bear. Maybe between now and next year, I'll have to work on a ball to drop.
Yeah.
Come. It'll have to be a square, so it's time. Time Bear.
I wonder if you could take the StreamYard countdown and put it in a little block and have it sitting there to 30 seconds and run it down.
I'm sure there's a way to screen share if I brought the big clock up. Thank you, Scott. Another $10 from Scott. Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Briggs. No,
I'm trying to find that one thing. I know I took a video of it.
Oh, we're getting down to a minute and a half, y'all. Woo!
just getting there.
We're a bunch of party animals.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
ain't.
because I was actually thinking about trying to find the fireworks, video.
Delisa's got them on television, and I'm sitting here. But they got too damn many advertisements going in New York. I mean, all them big billboards and all that is advertisements. So I guess they'll show the ball in a minute, but they ain't showed the ball since we've been watching it here.
Well, we're under a minute, so
I think it's at the top of that.
all right.
It's getting.
Where in the hell is it at?
I think it's just gonna come down that circle.
Under 30 seconds from my clock. I know everybody that's watching's a little bit delayed, so
Yeah, that's what.
yeah. The dog wants to ring Darrell.
Quit. Quit.
Now she's back.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year's, everybody! Happy New Year's.
New York, what the fuck?
New York's a little backwards anyway. So.
What the hell? Oh my God. And they call hillbilly stupid? People got us beat.
minutes away in Town Square. So in New York, the people in New York's just a little bit late.
Oh my God.
And they say we're a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Happy New Year's, April. Happy New Year's, Danny, Tommy, Turning Wrenches, Scott, everybody that's still here. Thank you very much.
And now they're just
I do
doing it.
And now
Now they're just now
now it's
doing
down to 49 seconds, 47, 46.
You're a minute behind.
Yeah, they got a minute behind us.
Oh, I can hear everybody shooting the stuff off now.
Oh,
Oh, you don't do that out here.
well, the mountain is quiet tonight. I mean,
I've got neighbors and stuff that I don't go any place for the 4th of July because they shoot off better displays than what.
Planet Fitness hats. You know what they're saying? Let's get fit for the new year and do this a Planet Fitness account.
Happy New Year, A&D. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Happy
it.
New Year. Yeah, they're just now getting to the 10 at 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's happy. It's New Year's in New York now. So.
They're a minute and 49 seconds late.
Yep, they are. So.
And the first thing they had to show is two dudes kissing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh well, it ain't no big deal. It
eh,
is what it is. So. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let you all go. Enjoy and celebrate with your family and friends and everything. And
well,
I appreciate everybody hanging out and
Everybody
having
going
a.
to pass out here.
that's probably about the truth around, but usually you hear the shotguns going off. But
I'm hearing the big booms now. So, anyways, appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. And we'll catch you all next Sunday for the regular live stream. Appreciate y'all, love y'all, and have a very safe and happy New Year.
good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, don't drink and drive. Scott, order an Uber, like you said.